Today is April 7th, 2012. My name is Bhajan Singh, and my age when 1984 Operation Blue Star took place, approximately about 24, 25. And then I was working in Silicon Valley as a quality control inspector. In 1984, I can recall I came back from work and we were sitting in my apartment and my roommates were saying that some bad things have happened in India. And so the news came to us through BBC on the radio, and the broadcast on the radio was on and off, and there was other channels that were picking up news here and there, a little bit from the TV. Not much was coming out. I remember the newscasters were saying that it's a complete blackout and reporting is not allowed. And so it wasn't much news. It's just tidbits here and there. Couldn't call anybody. Those days phones were difficult. Villages did not have a phone. It was quite a difficult situation. It seemed it was the end of the world. It seems like something drastic has happened, and it's so hard to describe in words that we don't feel like eating that day. Our normal life was completely shattered. I didn't know why. I took it so hard. I had no, just something took over my spirit and my mind and everything. It was like the end of the world. It's like complete darkness henceforth. It was a post 9/11 for many Americans. That kind of scenario here. Actually, after the attack, I remember the next day we were crying. Some of us were crying, and I remember we called the Fremont Gurdwara in California, and we got the number to the secretary of the Gurdwara, Professor Ranjit Singh Sabharwal. And we asked him, what should we do? What are your instructions for us? And he just said that it's very bad what happened, and he himself did not know what to say. But we were so naive. The first thing we saw was the Gurdwara. There was only Gurdwara in Fremont, and we should maybe they knew what to do. I didn't thought much about my family or my brother, although I knew that the whole Punjab was involved. But somehow it was bigger than family. Somehow it was much bigger than your personal loss. At least that's the way I was sensing it. And while CBS was interviewing Pindravali, and in one part they said this shooting or the news coverage they did, the segment of CBS 60 Minutes, just happened a week ago, before the attack, a week or so. And then when I was looking at it, I got a shock when I saw my brother sitting in the Sangat, right in the front, on the very, very close to Pindravali. He was sitting on the right side, and I recognized my brother sitting in the Sangat. And I knew he was involved in the peaceful movement for the Sikh rights, and I knew that he also was close to Pindravali and the whole movement itself. So that, and there was no news, nobody knew, and I right away thought that the worst thing has happened. And it was quite shocking to see my brother on CBS 60 Minutes and not knowing, what happened, or is he alive, or what's going on. There was also a big demonstration that was scheduled in front of the San Francisco consulate, and it was nothing but thousands and thousands of Sikhs. I cannot recall the exact figure, but I would venture to say it was very easily between 5 and 10,000. I believe it was closer to 10,000. Buses came from Los Angeles. People came far and wide from every conceivable city you can imagine. So that, considering the number of people living here at that time, I thought that was a massive, show of anger at that time. And I believe also that Sunday, the Fremont Gurdwara saw the biggest crowd ever, and one after another, speaker after speaker. And I was just a young kid and never came into the Sikh arena before, and I kept quiet and listened and I listened and I listened. And there were all kind of meetings planned, and it was completely like after a war zone where it was completely chaotic, and people were angry, and everybody was, anybody who said he has any news about India, people just ran to him, gathered around him, and trying to listen what he has to say. What's the latest? What's going on? There was no direction, nothing whatsoever. And then I believe that the first real meeting, organized, formed, it took place in Stockton, I believe, the following Saturday. I think the attack happened on a weekday, maybe Wednesday or something like that. And then Sunday, we attended our respective gurdwaras. But the next week, there was a major gathering at Stockton. Everybody saw Stockton as a historical place, and Dr. Narinder Singh Kapani, Ganga Sotilno, Didar Singh Bans, Dr. Sukhminder Singh, every known personality at that time came, and meetings were held, and what need to be done, and 150 people gathered at a large open yard in Modesto, which is very close to Stockton. And it was at that time they say, with the youth of California, the Sikh youth, we need to get together, and they organized 5 people. They said, well, let's pick any 5 people, and then we'll just follow them. We stopped going to the local, the only grocery store that was here in Silicon Valley in San Jose, and a good 50-mile radius. The only store was Parth Bazaar. I remember that we stopped talking to them, although we never had this issue, just anger. People just stopped going to the stores. They just boycotted Air India and everything, and the other thing that happened was the youth, they collected themselves. For example, in August, in the 1984 August, there was a big celebration for the independence of India in the San Jose State University. They wanted to make a big statement, bigger than normal. Maybe we noticed it for the first time, but it was a sense of feeling that the celebrations and dancings and everything that was going to happen in San Jose State, 15th August celebration that Saturday evening, it angered many Sikhs. And I also noticed there was no Hindu came to the Sikh temple to tell us that things have happened, and you won't believe it that in 1984 attack on Darbar Sahib, June 1984, in Yuba City, Hindus, they distributed laddus, and we have witnessed to that. So many people here. There was almost a lot of trouble in that area. We were close to 100 of us, all the Sikh youth from here. They're all 20s, 25, under 30s, all of them. And we went there, and we did not let them celebrate. People threw eggs, and the way they were celebrating, and the way had so much decorations in there. It made me angry, and I went up there and I even tore the Indian flag down. I brought it down. I said, we will not tolerate this. We will not let you celebrate when so much killings are going on in Punjab. And I remember that the Amitabh Bachchan came to Canada, and people pelted him with eggs. And then I remember Kishore Kumar came to USA. He wanted to do a concert in New York, and that was cancelled because of the protest from the Sikhs, and they couldn't do a show in LA. And I believe that the India West took out a special ad saying that there'll be extra security and the show in Oakland would be a definite go, and nobody's going to stop the show. And this all happened months and months within that the year. I think the Kishore Kumar show took place in April '85. I mean, even then, people were still very angry. Still, some people, they were traveling, and they brought horror stories from home. And at this point, I had no news about my brother. You won't believe it. We couldn't figure out, because he has gone underground. A lot of his friends were being killed. So I had no news where he was, what was happening to him. But we knew that a lot of people were being killed. And there was still a lot of anger, a lot of meetings. WSO was formed, Sikh of California was formed. Activities going on. Dr. Kapani went on KGO radio to talk about the issues of the Sikhs. And I remember Dr. Amar Sikh, he was on CNN. So people were speaking out. They were talking about it, what the issue was, what's going on with the Sikhs. And all the leaders, Gangas Notelno, everybody, they were all, they were all activated. And this went on, till we, then the news came that Indra was, assassinated. And when that news came, it was just, no doubt, there was a big celebration, euphoria, happiness, because we truly felt that she deserved what she got, after what she did to the Sikhs, attacking the Golden Temple and, intending to kill as many innocent, which she did. At that time, I think when I got the news, again, I think I was at home and someone called, and naturally the first word they say was, Bamni chaki gayi. And for some people it was like, okay, we can move on. Okay, they did something to us, we did something to them, end of story. Yeah. Delhi massacre, I think, because we heard it from NPR, we heard it from PBS, we heard it from the news channels, and that's where we got most of the news. But then, because at that time, there was media there, and news started coming out of New Delhi that Sikhs are being killed left and right. And in spite of the suppression, there was a lot of news that came out from Delhi at that time via Western media. But I guess the November '84 was shocking. I mean, literally, people were in a frenzy. This is a whole new thing. This is a whole new ball game. This is one segment of society simply wanting to kill another community. It was seen in that light, and a lot of anger, a lot of outpouring of grief from a lot of women's. Again, the protests happened. Everybody got into the respective gurdwaras. There was another big major meeting in a Yuba city. So people were very angry, and their feelings were beyond 1984. Many people, in fact, were further resolved to fight the Indian state. After 1984, the carnage in the streets, it just took the fight to a new height. It created a new bar for people to see this issue in. So as I'm saying, that as far as I'm concerned, and I'm pretty sure that most of the Sikhs feel that way, that their life changed completely, and the love for India just completely was gone. And in it, instead of a long live India, we changed to long live Khalistan. Because I see the 1984 attack as a continuation of the battle that was started by the gurus. The whole fight between Brahmanism and the Mooldavasi movement.